Good morning, Facebook. Welcome to Preparing for Summer with the use of essential oils. So I am going to actually drag out my introduction to give people a few minutes to jump on. It is Friday. I had every intention on being outside, doing this on my patio, but it is windy and cold and breezy. So hence the fireplace on. I know it seems like a little oxymoronic to talk about preparing for summer, and I'm on the screen with the fireplace going. Actually, it's no heat. It's just the light for the visual effects. So welcome everyone. Hello, Tiff. How are you? Glad to see, if I can wave to you. Glad to see that you jumped on. So for those who are driving, please be safe. Don't comment unless you're doing voice talk to text. So I know summertime has come and gone. It looks like it's been rainy and cold here in the DMV. So I'm not sure where you guys are tuning in from, but, we complain all winter that summer's not here and it's cold. And then when summer gets here, we talk about how hot and humid it is and the bugs and the critters. So I'm glad to see that summer is here and the cold weather is definitely trying to bypass itself. So anywho, again, happy Friday, guys, or Friday. Hope you guys have some great plans for the weekend. We've been doing some traveling and I am looking forward to resting this weekend. So I plan to go nowhere. So I give a shout out to Angie Gold, my mama, who is packing up and moving to Tampa. So you all send some good moving vibes her way. So we're going to go ahead and get started. It is now 10:04. So for those of you who are watching it live, great. So for those of you that are watching live, you will be entered for a chance to win a special prize at the end. So if you're not watching it live, don't worry. We'll do classes like these all the time, and you'll be eligible for some kind of a raffle. And just so you know, guys, when you watch the Facebook class live, there's a little red dot that appears on the recording, so we can tell who's live. So I've had a couple people say, no, I was live, and their dot is gray. Can't fool us. So anyway, welcome to Preparing for Summer. So why do we need a class about summertime and essential oils? Are we doing anything different? Yes and no. One of the things that, we experience in the summer, especially those with the melanated skin, right? We want to protect the melanin. The sun can be very harsh on our skin, can be very harsh on our hair. And we just need to make sure that we're doing things to lessen our exposure to prolonged, sun. So, it's warmer days, it's hotter outside. You have longer days, so definitely you want to make sure that you are staying hydrated, drinking plenty of water. And a great thing to do with your water, not in a plastic bottle, obviously you want to have it in some kind of a hydro flask or stainless steel, but putting drops of peppermint or lemon or any of the citrus oils in your water is a great detoxifier. And so again, just trying to stay healthy and hydrated for the summer, you want to make sure that your water intake is steadily increasing, even though water is something we should be drinking on a regular basis, particularly when you are excreting sweat and just your body's trying to cool off. You want to make sure that you are replenishing your body. Also, because the days are longer, we tend to pack more activities. We tend to do a lot more travel. We tend to just do a lot more. So you want to make sure you start your day off with your Ningxia Red. These come in the single serve packs, or you can get them in the glass bottles. They typically come in 2 glass bottles. I think they're 25.4 ounces each. But these things are just a ball of energy in a little packet. I had taken a long distance trip recently, and we were driving through the night, and I took a Ningxia Nitro. So not quite what I showed you, but it's a more concentrated version. And I was just bebopping. I had played this, drank this Nitro at about 11 p.m. and I had some 90s jams on, and I was just jamming. And 5, 6 a.m., it just took me a long time to settle down because I just had that much energy. And I'm not a night owl. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm not a night owl. Excuse me. The The other source of energy that I use definitely all year long, but particularly in the summer, is Super B vitamins. So when you take your B vitamins, most people will tell you they just take one or two. I usually take two because I have 3 children. I homeschool. I run a business. I'm a wife. It's just all those things, right? So I need all of my energy consistently throughout the day. And it's safe to know when you're taking supplements that you are getting pure, organic, non-harmful chemicals, not harsh. There's no petroleum-based things in there. And so it's really helpful that you know what you're putting in your body. Listen, we have tons of environmental toxins that we cannot escape, right? You go pump gas, you're breathing in those fumes, and what do you do with them? What does your body do with them? Your liver doesn't know what to do with it. It's not a natural substance that your body's used to. So you're not going to eliminate every single toxin, especially environmentally. So what we're trying to promote is that understanding if you can control the toxins that you're putting in your body and on your skin, on your hair, you are limiting your chances of just having just a high level of toxicity going on. All right. So we talked about our energy because we're booking our days, we're just booked to capacity, right? So when you are in the sun for long periods of time, it can cause a lot of issues. It can cause premature aging. And so, but I don't look like I'm aging much, right? I still look just as young as I did in college, right, Mr. Ballard? Good to see you. Anyway, when you're out in the sun, and this is a myth, and I'm going to talk, just straight with my people here today. Most, I'm not going to say most, that's a generalization. Some African Americans, some Black folks just don't believe that they really need to have sunscreen. And that could not be furthest from the truth. And so while some of us were blessed with extra melanin, I was not one of those people, coming from a mixed family. And so I burn really easily. And so I need to make sure that my skin is protected, because if not, I will be as red as this wall sitting in my background. And so one of the products that I'm going to show here is the Mineral Sunscreen Lotion. It comes in, I think this is a 3-ounce bottle. So I can't remember if TSA is 2 or 4 ounces, but you definitely want to double check if this is check bag carry-on safe. But it's a broad spectrum. It's 10 SPF. Now they do have another one that's a higher SPF, and people have asked, what is the difference? It is the same exact ingredient. It is the same exact coverage. The only difference is that this one, you have to reapply a little bit more frequently. So if you're going to be out in the sun, particularly in the water, once you come out of the water, you're working in the garden, you're sweating, you want to make sure that you're putting natural, non-harmful chemicals on your, on your skin. Our skin is our largest organ. So anything that you put on your skin, your body is absorbing. And so a lot of people say, well, what about, typical sunscreen? Well, I want to give you a word, and I'm going to spell it out for you because I don't want to mispronounce it, but I believe it's called oxybenzone. Oxybenzone. Again, Oxybenzone. So when you have some time, you can just take a look at some of the harmful things that particular chemical does to the body, does to the central nervous system. So again, can we eliminate all environmental toxins? Absolutely not. But we can certainly control what's going on our skin and ultimately what's going to end up in our body. So even sometimes in my best effort to protect my skin, using sunscreen, putting sunscreen on my children, just depending on the time of day we go out, what we're doing, how long we're out, sometimes I still get a little burn. And I remember recently I don't even remember where I was. It wasn't even at the beach, but it was just somewhere else. I think I might have been doing yard work, and red is this wall in the back, and you could feel the heat just radiating off my body. And I was like, shoot. So I have this wonderful little trusty book about essential oils. It's called The Pocket Reference by Life Science. This is actually the 7th edition. They have definitely come up with a newer edition. You see all of my tabs, right? So I looked in this book to see what I could use for being out in the sun too long. And so one of the recipes that it recommended was using coconut oil, lavender, and peppermint. And I just kind of, I'm not one for measuring too much. I'm old school cook. So I just kind of glopped out a couple of spoonfuls of the coconut oil, put maybe 10 drops of each peppermint and lavender, just kind of mixed it up and applied it to my skin. When I woke up the next morning, all of the redness had toned down. No peeling, and I'm someone who typically would peel. But Young Living also has a product called the Laverderm After Sun Spray. If you're not a DIYer and you want to just have the product already formulated. I've been with Young Living for a little over a year and a half. I think 2 years, maybe this fall. And when I first joined, I'll be honest, the products, they're not cheap. But nothing is. So you either pay now or you pay later. So people tell me, oh, well, how do you eat organic? And how do you eat this? And you eat all this healthy stuff and it's expensive and you have a family of 5. And sure, but you either pay now in your food bill or you're going to pay that doctor later. So you have to kind of pick and choose, where, you want to sacrifice things. And so for me, being a stay-at-home homeschool mom, it was not always feasible to just buy everything that I saw that I wanted. So a lot of things I did take the time to research and make some simple DIY products from it. So my first year with Young Living, I made my own sunscreen. Used these little bottles I got from Wegmans. These are 2-ounce stainless steel bottles. And the reason I chose stainless steel and not the little kind of Walmart plastic ones in the travel section is because when you're using any type of citrus oil, you want to make sure it's in glass or stainless steel, because over time, the potency of that citrus oil can kind of eat away at your bottle. And so what I did was I filled up maybe about half with witch hazel. I'm sorry, I shouldn't show the label. I filled it up about half with witch hazel, and I used citronella essential oil. I've used peppermint. I use my lavender as well. I've watched I've put in tea tree and lemongrass. And these were staples. These are kind of recipes, again, that I found in the pocket reference book. So after I put about 1 ounce of witch hazel in, I probably added about 10 or 15 drops. Again, I'm not one that is precise in measuring. I just know what I wanted it to smell like. So, of course, I put more of the citronella in because that is what I have been used to smelling as far as, having bug repellent. And put the drops in, just kind of shake it up and just sprayed. And I did not get one single solitary mosquito bite the entire summer. And, my skin is very sweet. And so typically I have bumps all on my legs because that's just what they do, even with the toxic stuff that I was using in years prior. And so just to show you that it's not as hard to make DIY products as you would think they are. Okay, so let's move along to talking about all the creepy crawlers and critters that we so, just despise sometimes. But listen, I say those critters have purpose because, spiders eat mosquitoes. Mosquitoes probably take care of something else. And so these are all creatures. But guess what? I don't want them on my skin. I don't want them in my house. So one of the other products that I use is the insect repellent from Young Living as well. Now, I will say, for those who have an allergy to sesame seed or sesame oil, this is probably one you do not want to use because the carrier oil in here is sesame. And the reason that Young Living chose the sesame seed oil, not the grapeseed oil or the jojoba oil or some of the more fragrant oils, almond oil, is because you don't want those scents to attract the critters. So if you are somebody who does have an allergy to sesame seeds or sesame seed oil, this is not the product for you. You're going to want to try to make something of your own, which is what I just kind of showed you here with the witch hazel and all of the other types of oils. But this comes in a 6-ounce bottle. And what I've seen people do is because everything Young Living makes is so ultra concentrated. And I know like back in the day when we would get soap powder and says that it's ultra concentrated, so you don't use a little bit, but nobody really paid attention and we still overfilled it anyway. And then we wonder why all these kids came up with eczema and all these skin irritations. Anyway, I digress. So what I've seen people do is take about 1/3 of the insect repellent, go ahead and put it into an empty stainless steel bottle and put some witch hazel in there. And they may top it off with just a little bit of water, and just kind of every time you use it, you definitely want to give it a little shake, little swirl around. And because, this whole bottle could last you a summer and a half, depending on if you're like a summer sports family. There is a little, kind of squirt cap. I think that to me is a little bit messy, especially if you have kids. Anybody with kids try to apply things like this. No. So we're going to put it in here. So once this, you can hear my little jiggle in here. Once this is empty, then I will definitely dilute this and place it in here as well. That way, I know that my products, are stretching and giving me my money, getting my money's worth. But a lot of people, there's a lot of confusion about, is DEET harmful? But if you have insect repellent at home, I definitely want you, when you get home, flip it on the back. Take a look and see if DEET is the active ingredient. Now, DEET has been shown to be successful in bug repellent, but it is a member of the toluene family, which is TOLUENE. Just go ahead and look that up. I'm not going to tell you. I want you to do your due diligence, and I want you to do research to make sure, you're comfortable, whatever you're comfortable with putting on your skin based on the research that you're doing, that's perfectly okay. But toluene is an organic solvent used in rubber, plastic, cement, and paint removers. DEET is absorbed through the skin and can pass through the bloodstream. So if you're somebody that is already struggling with just staying above the wellness line, we don't want to put anything on our skin that's going to travel into our bloodstream. That's a, solvent that they use in plastics. We want to make sure that, we are conscious about what it is that we're putting on our bodies and in our bodies. So when you look at the research, it can be confusing because some research says that DEET is safe as long as it's under like 10%. If it's over 30%, it can become a neurotoxin. So you really just have to do your due diligence to make sure you are comfortable with the products that you're using. But this, the insect repellent has definitely been tested to repel mosquitoes and ticks and fleas. And again, it's using 100% naturally plant-derived based ingredients. So a lot of people who are in the oily family, or as I've just learned this term, crunchy mama, didn't realize I was a crunchy mom. If you don't know what crunchy mom is, crunchy dad, crunchy parents, look that up too. It's hilarious. Pretty much if like you feed your kid organic foods, or if you homeschool, or if you use essential oils, or you eat plant-based. I mean, it's just really funny, some of the terms they come up with. But I lost my train of thought. So anyway, just make sure, look up crunchy moms, crunchy dads. That'll give you a little chuckle. So again, going back to repelling the insects, we want to make sure that, the products that we're using are plant derived and natural. And so a lot of people in this world, here's the point I was coming to, is that we'll say, oh, these are made without chemicals. Essential oils are made without chemicals. And so I have to always try to correct people. Everything is made with chemicals. It's either a plant-based chemical or a synthetic chemical. And so we want to stick to things that are more plant-based because these are things that are more naturally, derived from the earth that was created by God that our bodies will know what to do with once it's ingested or absorbed through the skin. Okay, so travel is also another big thing that occurs during the summertime, especially for like school teachers or, people who just have a little more flexibility. Kids are out of school, so parents are a little more flexible. Traveling can actually just kind of really wreak havoc on your body, on your digestive system. And so we want to make sure that, when you're doing long distance travel or long plane rides, we're getting up, we're walking around, we're moving. All those things can prohibit proper nutrition and digestion. And so two of my favorite oils, and I did not bring them, I apologize, but maybe I will take a picture and post them into this class later. But peppermint, I do have peppermint. Peppermint is one of them, and Digize. And Digize is a proprietary blend for Young Living, and it has tons of great stuff for your digestive, your stomach. So pretty much anytime you would take the pink stuff, you guys know what the pink stuff is. I'm not really legally supposed to call out companies' names and product names, but you guys know when you have an upset stomach when you take the pink stuff. Anytime that you would take the pink stuff or those things that, that combat antacid, upset stomach, that kind of stuff is when you would typically take Digize. And you can rub Digize counterclockwise around your navel, or you could put them in veggie capsules and just take them as supplements as well. Young Living also has a travel Bon Voyage package, which is pretty much All of the things that you need for toiletries, but they're in the TSA compliant size, from your lotions, shampoos, conditioners, moisturizers, toothpaste, mouthwash. And that's really nice. It's amazing to me when people travel, like years ago when we started having children and it was time to travel. It was like, okay, we need a travel toiletry bag that has everything that we typically use so that we don't have to like grab your regular toothpaste and your regular toothbrush and run the risk of losing it. So I'm not sure how you guys travel, but for those who do travel and you are definitely, have an affinity to, Young Living products and essential oils, the Bon Voyage package is one that you might want to look at. And again, I will go ahead and go back and link all of these into this class. I wasn't able to have it done prior, so my apologies. Okay, so illness as well. Sometimes when we travel, our food choices, again, not drinking enough water, you're taking long distance travel. We've learned when taking long distance travel, it is not a good idea to stop and sit at a restaurant and eat because it just adds more time to your travel. So we're forced to kind of go through drive-thrus and things that we typically don't eat. And so you definitely want to just make sure that, we're taking better care of what's going in our bodies, even when we travel. So if that means you should pack your snacks, pack your water, pack your cooler, definitely. I know sitting in the car for me long periods of time gives me tons of aches. My feet swell. That's how even though I don't look old, that's how I can tell I'm getting old. Cause I'm just having all these ooh, I need to wiggle my toes. But Deep Relief is another proprietary blend from Young Living and another oil called Pain Away. And, these are really great to have just kind of, in your toiletry bag, stow and go, wherever. If you're on long, trips, long plane rides, long car rides, and you just kind of get aches, just kind of get muscle aches and tensions. But, just sitting stationary for a long time and you get out and you stretch, you can probably just apply some of these things to kind of help with some of that. So I know, these classes are really informative. There's a lot of information. So definitely listening, kind of going back through them a couple of times. But it's very, very good information. And sometimes it takes us 3 and 4 times of absorbing the information before we're actually ready to do something about it. The other thing I want to talk about is just having sleep support. It's not necessarily a summertime issue. I know a lot of people sometimes, when I am not able to sleep or I'm up late doing something and I might jump on here on Facebook and I'll see all these people. It's like 1, 2 in the morning. I'm like, why aren't they asleep? And you just see a lot of people suffer with, insomnia, not being able to just rest. Sometimes it's just a lack of peace, in the mind. Sometimes it's just just so much screen time, just so much things going on throughout the day that, it's hard to settle. But lavender is what we consider like the switchblade army knife of essential oils. It can be used for so many things. And I'll probably go through, this is a 15 milliliter bottle. I'll show you the difference in size. This is a 15 milliliter bottle. This is a 5 milliliter bottle. I'll probably go through one of these every 2 to 3 months, because I use lavender just about every day. I apply it on my face as a moisturizer mixed with my coconut oil. I apply it in my diffuser at night to help me sleep. I also apply it around my heart and on my left side for some cardiovascular support. So I use lavender like all day, like lotion. And I've had experience with putting vetiver, which is another essential oil, and valerian and valor, different types of blends. So you may find 1 or 2 oils, they're not quite your thing, right? It doesn't really affect your body in the way that everyone else raves about it. You have to just kind of keep trying, because I know that for some people, for some people, rutavala, which is a very pungent smelling oil, knocks some people right out. For me, I was just kind of like, I'm just waiting for it to have me get sleepy. Didn't really work for me. So you do have to kind of, taste and see, right? You have to try a couple of them out. So definitely want to make sure, we're talking about our immune support as well, because when we don't get enough sleep, our bodies does not have enough time to regenerate the proper cells to kind of regrow, right? And so that also aids in illness. So again, if we're someone who's always struggling to get above this wellness line, and we're kind of here and we don't get sleep, we have poor food choices, we're just stressed, traveling, just all of those things, it can start to affect our immune system. So one of the things that we like to use for immune support in our home is that I've made little roller blends. And this is just an empty 5 milliliter bottle that I've just taken off and, put some tape and stuff on. But in this bottle, we'll put 20 drops of lemon, 10 drops of frankincense, 10 drops of oregano, 10 drops of tea tree, 10 drops of thieves, and 10 drops of peppermint. And whatever's left, I fill it with a carrier oil. Now, I have learned to not fill it all the way up to the top. I kind of keep it right here at this rim because you want that oil and the carrier oil to kind of really mesh well and have some like aeration going on. And so I apply this to the bottoms of my feet, the bottoms of my kids' feet. I apply it to our spine. A lot of infection in the body really goes, it kind of filters through your spine. And so, not to get too technical, but when you're looking under a microscope at infections going throughout the body, they typically will just kind of gravitate towards the spine. And then that's kind of how they branch off to all of those, tentacles and all these little vessels and things. And that's how they spread throughout the body. And so, one of the things that we've learned, again, through the essential oils pocket reference is a technique called the raindrop technique. And so if you're not familiar with it, you can definitely Google the raindrop technique. And it's where you apply a series of oil in a specific order on the spine, on the bottoms of your feet, to help with that immune support. And so anytime I'm feeling a little tickle in the throat or kids coughing and sneezing, I walk around with this bottle, lift your shirt up, going up and down the spine, just kind of massage it in, make them sit down, put some on the bottoms of their feet. And so if you're not familiar with VitaFlex points or reflexology, that's why we put the oils on the feet. So that's definitely something that you want to take a look at as well. They do have pictures and things in this book. I probably can't put my finger on it right away, but it's definitely, you have VitaFlex points on your heart, you have VitaFlex points on your hands, VitaFlex points on your ears, and definitely as well on your feet. So one of the things that I was talking to another Young Living member a few weeks ago, and we were talking about just how, just traveling with pets or, going to visit in-laws. And, some people just don't have the greatest relationship with extended family. And so sometimes just trying to stay in your woosah moments, there is an oil blend that we use called Peace and Calming. And I've used this oil. It's really nice to use at night as well in a diffuser. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to load the picture into this class as well. I went to this member's house and they had a little dog that belonged to the daughter of the woman who I was meeting with. And the daughter was leaving to go visit someone else, and the dog was like having convulsions. Like, she is a little lap dog too. You guys know I have a big Labrador, and so she could not fit in nobody's lap. But this was one of those little lap dogs, and the dog was just jerking, just barking and just trying to get up out of her hand. And she was explaining to me like the dog has severe separation anxiety. And so I was there for kind of a one-on-one class with her. And I said, oh, really? I said, well, if you don't mind, let me just put a little bit of oil in my hand, let the dog kind of just sniff it, let the dog, come to me. And then I just rubbed it on the back of the dog's spine. And within 10 seconds, the dog just kind of sat in the mom's hands and just kind of relaxed, just like almost instantly. And I have seen people use oils with animals before. I just haven't really tried it. My dog is she just walks around like a natural, like she's in a natural sedative state. So she doesn't really get excited unless people are here. But she's a pretty calm dog. So I've never really experimented with using oils on animals, although I know that you can. They have a book just like this that is for pets only about where to apply it. And so Later on, someone else had pulled up in the yard. I'm assuming the dog probably thought it was his owner coming back, and that wasn't her. And then he just started barking again and just kind of getting crazy. So this time what I did, I just took the top off the oil and just put the top in the dog's nose and snout and just let him sniff it. I didn't let him lick it. Y'all know we don't play that. Just let the dog sniff it. And I kid you not, the dog sniffed it, looked up, walked like five steps, and just laid out on the floor. Laid out, like slain in the spirit, completely just, and did not move for, 20 or 30 minutes. So needless to say, that member was like, oh yeah, I need about 4 of those bottles. But, if you're just finding yourself very anxious, very jittery, or you have children who are very anxious or jittery, or animals who are just very anxious and jittery, the Peace and Calming blend, is a sweet blend. It has ylang ylang, orange, tangerine, patchouli, and blue tansy. And it creates a really relaxing environment that's great for homes, like I said, especially for pets and children. And so it really helps calm, anxiety, helps calm like the nervous system down as well. There's also a blend that we use called Stress Away. It's another one that kind of keep, keep those anxious, tendencies down. And so it didn't dawn on me to really use them with animals because my dog is pretty chill. But I have definitely used them for my children sometimes when they start bouncing off the walls. I'll just be like, come here for a second, just rub it right across their nose. So I hope this information, guys, was helpful. And for those who are watching on who are watching live, definitely I'm going to come back in here later today for everyone who watched live. So, great. Make comments. Please make comments to definitely verify. Let me know you were live. I told you before there's a little red dot by your name. But if you make comments, give me a shout out. I've seen a couple comments here. I've tried my best not to say anything to keep me focused. But if you go ahead and comment because you've been watching this live, give me a wave, give me a hey, just something to let me know you were here live. Then I will take everyone's name and put it into a bowl or a hat, and then have my daughter or son, somebody, draw your name out of a hat. Then I will tell you what the prize is. So for those who are definitely, interested in any of these products, you can definitely, send me a message. Most of you, know how to get in touch with me. Listen, I don't have Facebook Messenger on my phone. So if you send me a Facebook message, it may take me a minute because I have to log into the computer to see it. But if you're interested in ordering, you can definitely order these things just as a retail customer. And I will be honest and say, as a retail customer, you don't really get a lot of the perks and benefits, and then you pay full price. So that's one way that you can order them. The second way that you can order them is that you can become a wholesale member. And by being a wholesale member, you have 2 ways of entry. You can get a basic kit, which comes with 1 oil, that Stress Away oil, and a few samples. But that gives you a membership, lifetime membership, and you're able to order products at the wholesale rate. So for example, the insect repellent, which actually, unfortunately, is out of stock right now. Obviously, it's the summertime. It is wholesale $38 and retail is $50. So that kind of just gives you, I told y'all guys this stuff wasn't cheap. That's why it's best to dilute them. And if you're just kind of jumping in and you missed my presentation on how to dilute them, just kind of watch the replay. You want to definitely make sure you are getting your money's worth. So that's another way, understanding the difference. Some people says, hey, I don't want to be bothered with no membership. I don't want to have to worry about ordering things every month. That's completely fine. So you can have that basic kit and just get you in, or you can have a premium starter kit. The premium starter kits range between $165 and $170. There's an oil starter kit where you get like 13 different oils and a diffuser, some samples. There is a Thieves, which is our plant-based cleaning line. You can get tons of cleaning products, toothpaste, and dental care. There is a Ninja Red premium starter kit where you get a bunch of stuff like this, the nitro that I mentioned as well. So there are varying ways to gain membership into Young Living. It's really just about your budget and what it is that you're looking for. And so those are the two ways. And if you're interested in any one of those ways, and you can definitely let me know, and I will definitely, work with you to get started. I will go ahead and post the link if you want to just shop around. I'll post the link into this class as well. And for those who are already members, but you're not on Essential Rewards yet, you said, well, what is Essential Rewards? That's more like your subscription box, if you will, your wellness box. And so you can customize that box how you want to every month. For those who want to join Essential Rewards, that's a completely separate program from membership. Joining Essential Rewards, you're making a commitment to spending at least 50 PV, which is personal value, almost $50 per month. But I can tell you, if you're someone who's already seeking out more natural plant-derived products for your hair, your makeup. Oh, there was a makeup kit. I forgot to mention that. I'm actually wearing some of the makeup now. That you definitely are going to look into Essential Rewards at some point. When I joined Young Living, I think within a month or two, I joined the Essential Rewards because I knew that I was kind of phasing out some products. And if you guys have seen any of my posts, you've seen I've done a lot of DIYs and just, again, trying to remove the toxic chemicals out. I have a teenager and a little, a teenage, soon to be teenage son. And there are just a lot of these products that have these toxic chemicals in there, these phthalates and these, bismuth and all these other things. And she wants to wear makeup. And now you have to watch different makeups and things that are hormone disruptors. And so there's just so much information that's out here now. So that's one of the reasons why we come on and we do these classes, to make sure that people have information. So if you're joining Young Living with our team, you have access to tons of information, tons of classes. We wouldn't just leave you out there, to yourself. And for those who are local to this DMV area, we do hold a kind of meetup, an oily meetup once a month, the first Saturday of every month at Panera Bread at the Bowie Town Center at 10 a.m. It's very informal, but we give away a lot of samples and a lot of products and things to try during that meetup as well. And so if you're interested and you definitely want to talk more, please definitely shoot me a message. Otherwise, have a great weekend. Enjoy this Friday. Hopefully the weather picks back up. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for allowing me to share some of my greatest passions, which is this healthy, natural living. And I will see you guys later.